Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. I've got that on my head. Yeah. 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 I need haircut. I need hair wash, and it's a bit cold. Add those three things together, you will find better weather. And here we are. So Marzipan says that a polar bear stole his duvet last night. I bloody know the feeling. It's 27 here. Hello, Emma. Oh, that's not Emma. Hello, Steve. Hello, Emma. Lovely to see you. Quite a weird one. Don't worry, the show'll start in a minute. I got an email from Mousecat, and it was an interview. Sorry, I'm distracted because there's a film being made out there. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Remind me to tell you about the film. This is one of the various ways of tying a crameur. I've still got one on downstairs. Oh, I'm double crameur. I suppose it's the Khmer version of double denim or complete camouflage. Who knows? But I walk around and all the locals look at me and they think, yeah, he's blending in too much. This one's got problems. But oh my days, -2. Yeah, I mean, I do say it in slight jest, but I am used to 35. And so if you build your life around 35 and you wake up to 27, it's all gone wrong. I have got a cup of tea, though. If you're up for a synchronized sip in a minute, we can sort that out. First sip, synchronized sip, up to you. What was I telling you? Oh, yeah. Mousecat sent me a video of Julie Burchill. Now, Julie Burchill used to write for the NME. She also used to write for The Guardian. She's part of the old left, though. And whatever you think about the old British left, they were fighting for workers. They just were. They were fighting for free speech. That's undeniable. Now, there's a lot of hideous baggage that comes with that. You know, you can't just say, oh, they're all right then. Because no, they were politically and economically naive. But I do think the difference between the old left, and I mean, it's not actually that old, is it? But like the 80s media left were very different from the modern woke left. And we're going to get into that when the show starts. Good morning to you, Anglo-Saxon. Thank you very much. Machano Capruscitartan. That's excellent of you. Thank you very much. Very generous, actually. You tend to donate every time you're here, which is wonderful. Very kind. Now, the reason a Julie Burchill interview is interesting to me, because I actually quite like her. She was a bit of a fire starter in her own way. She was a bit of a that's the wrong word. Someone can remind me. What's the word? Fire. A little bit of an enfant terrible. She got like her first journalism job when she was 17. And she was part of the 1980s Groucho Club, which included Will Self and a few others, the cocaine scene in the Groucho Club. And that's when I found out about the Groucho Club, because of the Julie Burchill scene. She was seen as like the queen of the Groucho Club. Firebrand, thank you, people, is exactly the word I was looking for. It's lucky I'm not a writer, innit? You know, not knowing the right words for things. And it was really interesting to see it, because I obviously ended up going to the Groucho Club quite a lot. And it just took me back to those times. I had a long think about it, and it was quite a nice... and a friend of mine sent me a photo of my old gaff in Soho yesterday. So I was I had a bit of a nostalgia, a few moments of nostalgia, and remembering at 14 years old, reading about this Julie Burchill character and this Groucho Club place. You know, I didn't know what a members club was. And interestingly, thank you, Anglo. Interestingly, members clubs, people think that members clubs are elitist, right? That there's sort of these things where, the common man can't go. And in some respects they are. But the reason they came about was because of the old English, not ye olde English, but old English licensing laws. Because in the old days, the boozers opened like 11, 12 o'clock, I think. And then they closed at 3:30. They were closed. Last orders. Ding, ding, fuck off home. What? Hang on, I'm out drinking for the day. No, you're going home. And so it was a loophole. It was the members' clubs came out of a loophole. And the loophole was you could continue to serve booze off license, like out of the usual drinking hours, if people were members of your club. Like Jerry's, the Colony Room, the Colony Club, Soho House, the Groucho, Blacks, all of them opened at 4 o'clock, 3, 4 o'clock. They still do. Well, the Colony don't, it's gone. But so the idea was, and in Soho, you'd be at the French House, all the cool kids, and when it was like time to go, everyone would fuck off down Jerry's or fuck off up the Colony. Excuse my English, I am trying to swear less. And so that's where the members' clubs come from. And it was just so that people could carry on feeding their alcoholism. And in the media circles, that was rife, of course. So, yeah. Now, it's slightly different with Soho because the members' clubs also serve a purpose because Soho is England's media centre, you know, and that will involve celebrities and people that you'll recognise. They also wanted a place where these people could go to have a relaxing drink without people asking them for autographs, without people going up to them and getting selfies or whatever. And so if you want to apply for the Groucho Club membership or Soho House or Jerry's or any of them, really, the Colony, excuse me. Sorry, people, I've got something awful going on in the nasal. The Colony was different. The Colony, it was just up to Muriel Belcher if she liked you. And then the same with Michael Wojaz. I had lifetime membership to the Colony. Shame it's not there anymore. That's kind of pointless. But it was just if Michael liked you or before that, Muriel. Oh, I think John was in between the two of them. Anyway, and so it was a place, you know, you'd go to the Groucho Club in like the mid-90s and you'd have Blur would be there and Oasis would be there and Will Self would be there and they got left alone and they could also network. Now, that might sound a bit elitist, but you can't go into the French House when you're Noel Gallagher in the middle of the 90s and have a quiet drink. So it's, you know, it's kind of understandable. Anyway, so that was that. Now, here's another thing. While we're talking about media, so they're making a film out there, and it's kind of impressive. They've got a full kit there. They've got huge lights. Like yesterday, about midnight, it looked like daylight out there because they were obviously shooting a daylight scene. They've got dollies, everything. They've got, you know, all the cameras moving along tracks. They've got self-balancing cameras. They've got boom mics all over the place. It's a proper crew. There's a crew of about 50 people down there. And yesterday, it was so sad. It's sad in a way, but in a nice way. Yesterday, my missus, like I've worked in that industry. I've made pop promos and, you know, all sorts of larks. And so and living in Soho for so long, you know, it was weird if I walked from my flat to Bar Italia and didn't see a film being made. People are always making films in Soho, usually documentaries about Soho, which is a bit weird. I think it was John Baudrillard that said in the future television will only be about television. I think he nailed it as well. He didn't see the internet coming though, which kind of fucked that. But the internet is rather a lot about the internet, interestingly enough. Now, my missus, I said, oh, love, they're making a film out there or some kind of advert or something. Now, it's obviously a film because they've been shooting it for a couple of days now, and the size of the crew would tell me it's a film. And she put a cushion down by the window, and she was kneeling on it. And I tell you what, she looked like a kid at Christmas. Honestly, she's never seen anything like it. Now, she loves films. You know, she'll watch Khmer films all the time. and she'll cry and she'll laugh. Really, you know, when we go to the cinema together, she really gets into it. We went and saw, I can't remember what the film was, that woman, Thingy Jolie with the wings, the old fairy tale. And, you know, when it changes scenes and it's something flying, my missus is like literally blown away. It's like someone at the cinema in the 1930s. She's like, wow. Like, it's magical to her. And so for the first time to ever see a film being made, I'm on that ear, and I'll just finish this little tale, to actually see the sort of inner workings of it. And I could tell, and there was this beautiful woman who's obviously the lead, and she's trying to get into the cafe, and they're using a little cafe down there, and the bloke doesn't let her in. And so then she gets her guitar out and starts singing, and she was singing. It was beautiful. And playing this guitar. And I could tell that my missus was looking at her. And, you know, my missus is a peasant girl. I met her in a bar, swinging around a pole in her underwear. But that ain't hard to learn. And I often forget that she's a peasant. You know, she comes from a very simple life. I'll be going out to the provinces. It's her birthday next week. Well, this week, I think. Yeah, this week is her birthday. And I'll be going out there, and it's a very simple life. You know, they get water out of a well. She was telling me yesterday that when she was a kid, she had to walk with a wooden stick on her back with 2 buckets to get water and all that lark. And she was just watching the for the first time ever, cameras, lights, you know, the old clipper, action and everything happening. She stared at it for about 3 hours. And when she come away, I could tell that she was, you know, she started to understand that there's this world. And I said to her, I said, you can do that, you know, you can make films, you can be in films. And because she didn't grow up in England, and because, you know, or in a first world nation, she doesn't understand that you can do that. She kind of thinks that it's out of her league because there's obviously some kind of class issue here. And I said to her, no, you go to drama school, and we obviously have to get the old Google Translate out for these kind of conversations, but we've got pretty rapid at that. You go to drama school, you learn to become an actress, and then your drama teacher will spot you if you're good. They'll put you onto an agent. An agent will take some photos. And then when the agent is contacted by a filmmaker, a casting director who's looking for perhaps a small Khmer girl, you know, who can act, they'll send her your photos and they'll call you in for an audition and you get the part. And then I explained to her, but this doesn't come to you. You don't just sit there. I said, that girl down there who's singing and playing guitar, who's in this movie, she's almost certainly done all that. You know, there's the odd occasion where there's a bit of nepotism in the family, okay. But, you know, I said, that girl has made that happen. And so next thing, she's searching online for drama schools in Phnom Penh. So this could be very interesting. But it was so innocent, the way she was just marveling at it, you know. And it allowed me to look at it afresh as well, which is good, because if you get familiar with things, you stop thinking about them. And I've talked before, I always talk about critical distance, you know, that ability to see familiar things anew, and so you can learn something else about them. And I started thinking about the film industry in Cambodia and what's happening to Cambodia. Like I've told you a few weeks ago, this is being dubbed by economists and all sorts of people as the next big Asian success story. That road that's just out there, they're currently closed. There's a bar there, but one bloke has just bought every other property on that street. And he told me he's making a healthy cafe for healthy food. He's making like a bagel takeaway. He's making a restaurant, and he's going to repave it. There's a place in Phnom Penh called Basak. I think it's called Basak Lane. And it's like that. It's just one little strip of road that someone built a really cool boozer. The boozer would not look out of place in Soho. Really, it's really cool in there, and rammed every night. It's rammed. And then someone built one next to it. They thought, he's onto something here. And then someone built one next to that. And then someone thought, well, these people, they need a bit of food after a few pints. So they built like a really nice, flashy little sushi joint. And so Bassack Lane has become quite the place to go. And because of that, the prices have gone up. And hello, love. I was just talking about you, love. Darling, they're still making film. Did you see the photo?
No.
I sent you a photo.
We don't see.
Okay, I sent it to both phones. But crazy out there. Hello. So, he's going to do the same. And I was just thinking, this property I live in, I could never afford this. It's right near the riverfront. This is BKK1. This is the area that's in demand for properties when people come in, especially for barangs, non-Khmers. That building that little road, and there's already a bar there that's a really cool bar. Again, wouldn't look out of place. Let's see, she's looking at it now. Wouldn't look out of place in amazing, huh? See the camera of all the stuff. I told them you want to be an actor. and him building that road, he's going to repave the floor and everything. It will probably double the price of this property, because this is, I can go down the stairs and I'm there. Yes, it's going to add noise to the place, but I don't really care about music at night. There's no dramas. Hello, Alan. Look at that, Alan calling from Twitcheroony. Nice to see you. So yeah, and this is happening all over Cambodia, and foreigners are coming here, and they're marrying Khmer people, they're building businesses, they're investing in the country, and the country needs it. Cambodia is really poor. Average monthly wages is about $150, $200 a month, and that's working 7 days a week and long hours. So yeah, really interesting. And if you are thinking of moving country, and I know a lot of you have written to me and asked about it, and a lot of you here have said things about how much will I need to live and all that. If you've got money to invest, Cambodia, you almost can't go wrong. If you can get out here and buy property in the right place. Ed from Brooklyn, Ed from Queens, sorry, Ed. He sent me this, a bloke in Cambodia who made YouTube videos about buying property out here and the incredible appreciation of them, and then selling them, because you buy it in a little sort of shitty part of town, and then soon people are going to want to build a high rise there, because this is a city, it's a capital city. That's when you say, yeah, you can buy it, sure, and you treble what you paid for it, And so Ed from Queens sent me that bloke. I met him, and I met another bloke and had tea with him, and he was saying, you've got about a year left, there won't be any property available. He said, it's just too good an investment. And the bloke that Ed sent me, I went to his website the other day. They've stopped. They got nothing left. It's all very interesting. Aramas says, a lovely Thai woman invited me to Songkran New Year tonight. Very sweet. The Songkran Water Festival is one of my least favourite times, because I've been withdrawing when the water festivals happened. Yeah, please don't throw ice cold water over me. Manny Moo says, living in the hustle and bustle and noise would be hell for me. Yeah, but it ain't. I understand that, John, but then you just wouldn't live in that kind of area. It's also very peaceful here. It's a lot quieter here than it was living in Soho, and I put up with that for 10, 15 years. But I just thought I'd tell you about all that. I thought I'd tell you about that. Otto is stuck on the Clown Island. Fuck me. Have I been talking already for 19 minutes? Oh, there's 111 people here. How lovely to see you all. Let me get the doors of Griftation open. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 10 clips for you. No doubt there'll be a bit of say and search. Probably only going to get an hour and a half out of me today, because I want to spend some time with my missus. She's going home, I think, tomorrow or one more. Darling, you go tomorrow or one more?
We go one more day.
Okay, so not tomorrow. Okay, so... But I still want to spend some time with her. Huh?
Why?
No, nothing. I just was asking. But we will be back to two streams a day for a few days. Then I'm off to the provinces. I'll do one a day on my phone from the provinces. Oh, and guess what? I've got a guest coming on. He's a good friend of mine. I met him when I was a comedian. He's a funny bloke. He's an interesting bloke. He's a very considerate and kind man, actually. He's just had a baby. He's 43, and it's his first child. And he's going to come on, and we're going to talk about what it's like having a new baby at 43. And he's an interesting and amusing fella as well. So he's already agreed to come on. So that might be on the 2nd. And I'll leave that for the afternoon show. I think it's a bit heavy. Not heavy, but, I don't think you want to wake up and engage in something like that. That's more of an afternoon show. Hello, Carlson. Loving the turban. It's a bit much, isn't it? It's a bit much. Thank you. It's just a bit chilly here, and I need a haircut, and I need my hair's it needs cleaning. But thank you, Carlson, and thanks for the donation. Hello, RMF. Good to see you. The show will be starting soon. Well, Lee, this is a weird thing. There's about 8 weight. This is a clameur. This is exactly the same as what I wear around my waist and what I've got on now. My girlfriend bought me a couple more yesterday because she's found the big long ones. And out here, they use them for straining rice, carrying food. I've seen a woman put a clameur on the floor, put a 2-week-old baby in it, grab each end and go, and the baby is now pinned to her back, or was it her front? But the way she just picked it up and swung it around, she'd obviously done it a few times. So they use them for loads of things out here. There's about 6 different ways of tying them. You can tie them to protect your neck, the top of your head, your sides, for different times of day. So I got my missus to tie this because I haven't got a clue how to do it. Come here. Nice to see you. Nice time at the market. Good.
Lovely.
Good. You had something to eat?
Huh?
You had something to eat? Did you eat? Okay, good. Anyway, don't worry, people. Pardon? Okay. Yes, Jeff, we'll be starting soon. So in answer to your question, Lee, I don't know. I got her to do it. Right, the doors of griftation. Let me do this. Right, Gregor, you got that stopwatch ready? It's gonna be mean and Napa, you've just had a baby girl born this morning. Can you just confirm that, please? Grego says, how knackered you are with a new baby in your 40s. Well, I'll be in my 50s, but I'll have a woman who's very traditional about who does what. So as long as I'm working. Napa, can you confirm that? I just want to make sure that's what you're saying. Because people will... here we go, people. So Napa, at 5 a.m. this morning, gave birth to her. Well, he didn't. That's amazing. NT, Napa, any 48, anything you want in the chat for Napa Tandy. Congratulations, my friend. Amazing. That look, I think I'm turning Cambodian. That's incredible. Congratulations and best of health for the mother and the child. And you, of course. Get some sleep, son. It's probably been quite draining for you. John B nailed it. Nipper Tandy. There you go. It's amazing. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Chip says Napa now needs nappies and more naps. Certainly does. Right, if you're up for your first sip or a synchronized sip, I'm about to be doing both. So grab your cup of tea. I imagine it'll be synchronized sip for most of you. I doubt any of you have been waiting. Here we go then, people. Got there at 4. Baby came out at 5. Did you get some nitrous oxide in you? That's quite a touch, though. You got there. What, you and her? You and the missus? So she arrived and said, it's coming. And it came out in an hour. What a touch. That worries me, all that sitting around for 15 hours thinking, oh, my God, terrified. No, it's a pleasure. Thank you, man. You're doing a good thing. Congratulations. No responsibilities, no point. Responsibilities, life's good. Yeah, I found out about that afterwards, though, Gaffney. So that's I didn't. Someone else told me that, but I didn't know that, so I'm still going through it. And that's all right. Don't matter, does it? Right, ready, everyone? 5, 4, 3, 2, sip. Amazing. Oh, lovely cup of tea. It's so English. It feels so good. It just feels so good. All the drugs I've done, I've done an all ball. An all ball is a preparation made for an intravenous injection using amphetamines, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, and acid as the blotter. And I tell you what, a cup of tea is better. A cup of tea is better. So that's incredible. That's incredible. John says you have a new master in your house. Incredible stuff, though. Right, don't worry, people. Exactly that, Jip. That's how I felt like. Nah, you're all right, Gaffney. Coffee's fine. That's either way, either or. Yeah, let's see. John don't mind. No, Grego, we're nowhere near started. I mean, don't worry, feeling like a traitor, Gaffney. It was only John Palmer yesterday that said foot golf was his new favourite channel. That won't be forgotten, John. Look into the Marco Pierre White horizon. Won't be forgotten. Right, ready, Grego? I'm going to make this one good. I've just got to get it all right. Ready? 3. You ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, people, this is how you can support the channel financially. You can become a member of the channel. That's the top link in the description. There's 3 strata. Join the top one. You can watch all the private videos. Join the second one, just the bottom 2. Join the first one, just that one. It's £1, £4, £7, something like that. Very good. When we do those shows, we get everyone on. You can also use Super Chat. That's a $sign at the bottom of the chat. That's the paying mantis there. That's handy. If you want to donate but not give anything to Susan, you can use Entropy. Susan being YouTube. I'll put the Entropy link in the chat and I'll pin her to the top of the chat. This is always the bit that gets me. Yeah, I've done that. It's also in the description, but if someone can confirm it's up there, Entropy is the best one really for me. That's it really. You can also use SubscribeStar. That's like a monthly thing. Link in the description. I don't expect to get rich out of this. I do have a job, but I do expect a few donations because I put a lot of time, effort, passion and research into it. And I have to say, for the size of the channel, you're a very generous bunch, and the donations are the grease that keep the cogs of the machine of Scrubs going. Stop. Thank you very much. Grego, how was it? New record I'm feeling. New record I'm thinking. Thank you, Scory. Thank you, Mark. Just waiting for this. Could be a new British record. Intro pinner. Let Grego get Grego to time the grift in Marco Pierre White style. 3 days. Look, I'm a bit worried that he hasn't done it, and now he's thinking, do I lie or what? 1 minute and 5 seconds. Yeah, brilliant. I think that is I think that's a new record. I'll take that. Nice one, Grego. Appreciato. Apparently I've got some super chats that I missed. I've done Carlson's. And thank you, Carlson. I've done Angelo's. I did not do Chris. Thank you, Chris. Marzipan. I said I was on it and I missed it. Much respect for revisiting the amnesia sessions. It could not have been easy. Acceptance is the key, bruv. A wise man in a daft that once told me. Yeah, that's very kind of you, Ian. I think it had to be watched. I think I had to acknowledge it. I had to. It was painful to watch, without a doubt, because that was like the first time, really. And yeah, you know, I come clean about why it happened. And yeah, we all make mistakes. I think it's how you deal with the impact of those mistakes. Thank you, Ian. That's very kind. And thank you for the donation as well. That's also Machano Caprusci Tutti. I got Anglo's in, and I think Anglo was in first. So there you go. Thank you for someone reminding me I missed a couple. That's always important. Cheers, Jip, for that. Thank you, John. Could I appreciate what you do? You can't say that, you misanthrope. I appreciate what you do, Johnny Manny Moo. Coming here and watching it almost every day. Lovely. And jumping on the screen in the private chats. And apologies to the heroes. They're still owed 2 videos. And considering they pay the most for their memberships, it's a bit off that I haven't done them. But they will get done. I mean, in about 3 days, I'm going to be owed 3. I guarantee they'll get done. And what I'll do is I'll make them longer so you'll actually get more, not just what's owed, because I think there's a bit of interest to be added to that. So sorry, people. Thank you, John, though, for the donation. And thank you for that lovely comment as well. Okay, people, the show will start shortly. Thank you, man. Appreciated. Cindy Atkinson, Oklahoma cowgirl here. Yeehaw. Nice to see you, Cindy Atkinson. New in these places. I stream twice a day most of the time. When the missus is here, once a day. But if you can catch this one, I do this one every morning. About 8:45 UK time. But lovely to see you. You're welcome to the glorious House of Scrubs. Napa Tandy spending his money on donating. He's got a new baby to look after. He says, thanks, everyone, and all the old scrubs. We're very few, it seems. Good to see the new scrubs, though. Napa Tandy, I lost a lot of people when I went down the diazepam tunnel of death. Understandable, I suppose. But you'll be surprised how many OGs there are here, really. You know, there's still people here who were watching this channel 5 years ago. I think a lot of them just keep their heads down now. But yes, I think it's fair. Let me tell you this. You probably know this. I'll tell you what, I've got this that Lee sent me the other day on my monitor. It's still amazing, isn't it? The old green one. Got to earn £1 note, ain't you? I earned one. This is how YouTube works. So your subscribers are largely symbolic. You know, most subscribers don't watch your content. And what happens is people come and people go. It's transient. You know, most of you here will have started watching a channel, watched it for a year or so, slowly started watching less, found new channels, and then that's what happens. And you move on to different stuff. But while that's happening, new people are coming in. So, you just have to deal with that. It's always sad. You know, I really miss a few people who left during my dark period. The illustrator fella, I spoke to him and he said that it isn't anything I'd done. He just said that he wasn't getting any work done because he was watching 4 hours of me a day. And that's fair enough. But nice one, Napa. And again, congratulations. You know, what a thing to do. I said it yesterday. When I see an adult male with a baby, I feel infantilized. I feel like I haven't done my job. I haven't done my role in life as a man. I mean that as well. It's not just hyperbole. It's a bit chilly here today. You know, got to keep your head warm. Yasser Arafat lookalike convention. I guess it's only me. Unless you're suggesting my missus looks like Yasser Arafat, then that is a shocking thing to say. Okay then, love UK, good. We do have plenty of Americans here, though. I think I'm on about 13% Americans and about 2% Australians. But no, there's plenty of Americans here. And I talk a lot about America because what happens in America affects the whole damn world. On yesterday's video. So, Brad, Ian Marr mentioned a couple of days ago that I fell asleep during a stream. And I was like, what? Did I fuck? You know, I had no idea. Because a couple of months ago, probably about 3 now, I got some sleeping pills. But they weren't sleepers. They were diazepam. which when you're a drug addict, you don't sleep, you enjoy them and stay up all night. So they actually immediately had the opposite effect. I wasn't going, right, I need to sleep now. I'll have my tablet, 10 milligrams, and get some sleep. I'd have it and go, oh, yeah, that feels great. I'll stay up all night watching videos, you know. And then one day I went to the pharmacy and she didn't have any. Now, every pharmacy in Phnom Penh has diazepam. So I could have just gone to another one. And she went, I've got amps, though. And I just was, you know, I made very rapid excuses in my unconscious and just went, that'll do. Have you got 10? And the next thing I know, I'm going to co-host the channel with Paul Mumford, which would never have worked. We're two dominant personalities. It would never have. It was just a drug idea. After that, I'm cancelling. I'm not doing this anymore. That's all I remember. So when Ian said you fell asleep during a stream, I was thinking, fuck off. It weren't that bad. I might have been a bit knackered. And then Rusky sent me a video where I was going, grandma. And it was shocking. And I played it yesterday to just sort of own it, I suppose. And that's what Ian means by the amnesia sessions. And then I went, because then I knew what date that video was made. I then went back to my emails and saw the emails people were sending me. That I replied to. But when you take benzos, you cannot make memories. You're chemically unable to remember things. So I then had emails from people saying, you need to sort yourself out, son. You're going downhill and it's obvious. And I'd email them back going, nah, mate, I've just been a bit busy. Yeah. No, that's not what happened. I was going downhill rapidly and thankfully I got out of it. Oh, have you had a nice welcome, Cindy? That's lovely. We certainly are, Chrissy. Hello, Moslab. Up early, ploughing. Good morning, Scrubs. It's great having a mate with an actual snowplow. I thought your Arsenal was cool, but fuck me. An actual snowplow is incredible. We have, Linda, I know, but Brad did ask, and I felt like it's not something I have to. It's not something I can hide from. Ian says that me and Joe Rogan are the only people he's stuck with. That's kind of you. Thank you. I'm glad I can. Well, you're kind of, you know, you're part of the furniture. I mean that in a nice way, obviously, around here. Right, the show will start shortly. I got a lot of emails from Scrubs saying thanks for putting them on to Salty Cracker. And yeah, Salty Cracker is brilliant. Don't forget Scrubs Rising, Rogue Platoon. If you comment, that will work in the end. It might take a worry. Look at what Cindy's day involves. Getting coffee and then feeding horses, cows, donkeys, chickens. Love the farm. Beautiful, cool morning. That sounds like a nice day. Sounds like you've done well there, Cindy. What a life. Lovely. Lawless Lioness has been lurking for about 4 years. Lovely. Colonel Custer, good to see you, mate. I haven't been watching regularly because I had the coof and didn't want to do anything but sleep. Are you out the other end of that now, Colonel? I hope you are, mate. Well done for sorting that out. Mega love shout out from Cecil Pangahandahangahandan 2 vlog Kuwait. All right, Cecil. Nice to see you. Hello, John. Steady. All good. Cross hatches on the firm. He says, I'm so glad I had a daughter. I think not having kids is a big head fuck. I'm the name carrier, but I put it down to genes because my name dies with me. Never mind. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I like you a lot. Does that count? Let me check my entropy. We're all good over there. Linda's hanging up now. Oh my God, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what it means. I am sure about that. But did you listen to the rest of the story where I mentioned I was injecting it, and the bioavailability of injecting 10 milligrams of diazepam equates to about 50 mil in tablet form. So, yeah, Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sure I'd have probably had more. I don't know. I don't know is the answer. I really don't know. Yeah, that's weird. I certainly think that, again, I wasn't aware of what was happening. And a couple of people even wrote that to me. They were like, I think you might be making bad decisions. Really nice emails as well. And I might even reply to some of them again. I think you might be having problems, mate. Maybe sort of just step back and basically saying, I think you're taking drugs. Maybe think about that because your channel's going down the pan. Brad's been there, just not on camera. Yeah, it's but that it's actually quite good for me that it was on camera because it allowed me not to be, I dread to think what my missus was going through at that time. Absolutely dread to think, and I do remember we had a few weird days, to say the least. It was dark comedy, yeah, but I don't like being the punchline all the time. Well, that was what that's why my first novel was called Tired, etc. I went through this yesterday. I can't go through it all again, Brad, but not that you were asking. Hello, Paul. You're still COVID up. Oh Lord. I hope it sorts itself out soon. Marzipan says that kid that murdered the other guy in When Junkies Stab and Steal in my hometown was on Smack and Etazalam. No memory of it. Yeah, I have no. Yeah, oh, okay. So someone killed someone and doesn't know anything about it. Weird, isn't it? Weird. Benzo's weird like that. Meganesia said, that's when I first knew you. Still entertaining. Then you retired and returned in a groovy, healthy way. Yeah. Well, this was a weird thing, Meganesia. People were saying, oh, it's so good to see you looking well again. And if you look at those videos, my response was like, oh, thanks. I didn't know why. I didn't know. I was like, what? Everyone's being really complimentary because I didn't realize they had a reference that they were referring to the change. They had this. And I didn't know about that. Weird, isn't it? If you lot weren't here, I wouldn't have known that period happened. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, but knowledge is this. You all right, cheeky chicken? Oh, that's nice. Come here. Come here. No.
Hello, people.
Oh, that's very quiet.
Hello, people.
Okay, no, don't sniff me armpits. Come on. Right, the show's about to start, people. Please. Go away.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah.
Baby, I'm hungry.
Right, please let me do this. The sooner you let me do it, the sooner I can spend time with you.
I'm hungry.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
excuse me, people. Sorry about this. The show is about to start.
Oh, Fiona.
Jeff says something that I think a lot of us are experiencing at the moment. Yeah, I had a conversation with a bloke here, and I was talking to him about the problems it's going to cause me with traveling and all that. And it seemed like it seemed like an adult conversation when I said, it's going to really cause problems traveling, and me and the missus want to travel. And he went, well, you could just be a good member of society and get it. And I was like, I better not say anything else about this then. For people who are, that's lovely, darling. Thanks for the headache.
Hello.
Jeff said he's a pariah among friends, refusing the packs. We'll call it the packs. Marzipan says, if I'd have been within striking distance, I would have slapped you about. I'm sure you would, and I would have certainly deserved it. But thankfully, I got slapped about via email. I don't know how I came out. I think I just realised one day that I was in a real mess, and I just thought, if you carry on like this, you're gonna have a real problem. So John Palmer says mandatory masks from tomorrow. Got to do all the Christmas shopping today. Well, ST911 says Pfizer are making 211 mil per day. Well, I haven't done the maths, but I read that they were making 1,000 a second. Jesus, man. Good memna. I don't know what that means, Pax Max, but not a problem. Okay, people. Willow says he has not met anyone who has said anything negative about him not being vaxxed. That's interesting. I'm sure there are some. It's interesting. Okay, right, people. The show is about to start, but before it starts, let me just do this for you. I've got a load of really good clips. We've got some amazing toxic masculinity today. We've got 2 toxic masculinities. Mark, I still haven't done that thing. I haven't had time with Black Friday and Cyber Monday and the girlfriend and eating. And this morning I already woke up and mopped both toilet floors and the kitchen floor. Only because I had to, because it was starting to smell like a fucking public toilet, mate. You know what I mean? Like proper horrible, like ammonia for breakfast. Hello, ammonia. Love a look at this, people. Nice. Boom. In your own time. Hayden dropped a 5, a lady Godive into entropy. He said, "You're the only person who likes me for who I am and not what I can provide. Here, have some money." Thank you, Hayden. I'm not really sure how to take that. But yeah, you're all right. Lovely fella. You watch the show, you enjoy the channel, you talk to people. Lovely. And you do donate. And that's also handy, I've got to say. Right, people. Do you miss the toilet that often? No, it's just a question of the heat of the country. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Uska says they can throw me in jail. I'm not being locked down for bullshit anymore. Interesting angle. They can't throw everyone in jail, can they? Interesting. Go and check out the Woodlanders video about how they've got ways of getting rid of people. It's quite interesting. Colonel Custard says one of the most annoying things about the coof was that tea just tasted like boiled water. Yeah, I've had a couple of people who've had it who said to me that even when it's gone, the rest of the symptoms have gone. Their sense of taste and smell took a while to come back. So peculiar situation. I thought you weren't spam lady, Cecil. I thought you weren't spam lady. We do visit your stream. We raid it. Like the raiders we are. Right, here we go. Let's start with this. I put the photo up on my Telegram. I think we should perhaps look at the photo first, just to give you an idea of what they're talking about, although they do show it. But let's just have a little look at this, because this is a real thing. A Catholic university, right? A Catholic university. I don't know about a lot of you, but in England, the Catholic schools, secondary schools, are considered pretty good. I've had people who've converted to Catholicism just to get their kids into the Catholic schools, which is weird considering their other the other history regarding Catholics. However, check out this actual painting that is on the wall in a Catholic university. I mean, I don't like to talk of blasphemy, but when George Floyd is in the hands of the Virgin Mary with a glowing disc around his head, a la Jesus H. Christ, yeah, I mean, history isn't going to laugh at this surreal elevation and admiration of this fentanyl dealing career criminal. The veneration of this man has just been insane. History won't laugh at it and be surprised at the surreal nature of it. The contemporary is. You know, this is another thing that the internet has done to culture, and I think is a positive. You don't have to wait 20 or 30 years to sort of see how ridiculous things are now. They are immediately, because there's other voices. You haven't just got the propaganda wing of the government telling you what things mean. You've got independent voices, and it's like, this is ridiculous. Now, I don't think a copper should have put his knee on the geezer's neck. I don't. Regardless of whether that killed him or not, I think that's a bit off. you know, I've been very badly treated by the old Bill. We could argue that another time. However, the veneration of this man is, you know, it's like Jesus, Muhammad, Christ, Buddha, Floyd. Anyway, let's see what these fellas, what these people on Sky News Australia. Sky News Australia is bizarre. I think someone told me someone else owns it, but they are very occasionally based AF, which is peculiar. Have a look at this. Well, John, that might be why they've done it. That might be like a peculiar twist in the story. For people who are audio only, John Palmer says Jesus was Church of England. So a very interesting situation nonetheless. Hello, HKU.com. Nice to see you. This is quite an interesting chat. It's only a minute long, but it's worth watching. Here we go. Bosh, bing, bada boop. Come to my restaurant. Let's go.
A Catholic university has got confused about exactly who is or isn't Jesus Christ.
So Catholic University in Washington, D.C., now they've done a whole, as you know, a lot of the Catholic institutions, unfortunately, are doing these days, going down the whole social justice road. Have a look at this. They have just done an art exhibit where they've replaced Jesus Christ with George Floyd. There are no words. At a Catholic university, this is what they are teaching.
That is shocking. Daisy?
Yeah, that's pretty extraordinary. I mean, you know, you'd think at a Catholic university they'd have some idea who Jesus is, and a notion that, in fact, it's probably blasphemous to depict Jesus as anyone other than Jesus. So I have a great big fail to this supposedly Catholic university.
It's a peculiar story nonetheless. Hello, Tavern. Good to see you. Did I see Tavern on the firm? Hello, mate. Good to see you. John Palmer says, Church of England, where the leading bishop is a Jew. Well, I can't confirm that, but I'll certainly take your word for it, Johnny boy. It's peculiar, isn't it? I mean, regardless of that painting, which is just, there is some funny YouTube clips where they've got all the murals of Mr. Floyd, and they're crap. It's really funny. I tried looking for it the other day. I can't find it. Maybe it got yeeted. But they're all awful. In every one, the geezer just looks awful, terrible. It looks like he's gone 10 rounds with Muhammad Ali, most of them. But yeah, just the veneration of this character. I mean, just look at his life. Look at what he gave to the community. And it's, you know, wasn't he buried in a gold coffin? You know, I bet he wasn't. I bet he was put in the gold coffin, tipped out, and then taken to the fucking cash converters. It's insanity. It's insanity. But, you know, okay, if that's what they want to do, that's makes them look as great as they. Mike Collins says, I went through the Catholic schools. Priests and nuns were the most hateful people there. Wow. There you go. Matt D says, I didn't know Jesus beat and robbed women for his drug addiction. Moslab says, a good pope would never tolerate this kind of blasphemy. It's a strange old situation, isn't it? Yeah, well, imagine that, Linda. I won't even read that out. I'm sorry, people are audio, but you can imagine what it says. She says, make him, and it's another religious icon. And if you can't say it, you know what it is. Steady on, steady on. That's the best one yet, though. Right. Moslab says his coffin had spinning rims on it, and I'm not sure if you're joking. There you go. I really am not sure. I would not put it past them at all. No. That's not true. That's not true, Humans. I looked into that story. Humans says the Salvation Army shat the bed with the anti-white bullshit too. They didn't. I looked into it. It's not true. It doesn't help our cause at all when people make up stuff like that. Maybe I'm wrong. There's always a chance. But I found someone sent me the story. I looked into it, and they were like, no, this isn't something we've done. Morning, Salmon. Only a small donation, but it all helps. Paul Salmon Imagine if everyone gave £1. I'd probably be able to do this full time, which would be amazing. So I know you didn't apologise, but any donation is superb. Thank you very much, Paul. That's great. John says the most peaceful one. There you go. That's what I should have said. They should have used the most peaceful religious figure, and that would have got me out of the way of it. Okay, so that was that. This is quite interesting. Weirdly, again from Sky News. Don't worry, people. The show will start shortly. I just want to show you a couple of clips. Now let's just have a little pause a minute. We've got 150 people in here. That's lovely. Nice to see you all. Do you like reading short stories? Get on my Substack. I'll never monetize it. Link in the description. There's 12 short stories in. Grego, you should really start timing this one because this has become an everyday thing. Little advert, a little bit of unpaid promotion for my own work. I write short stories. I also write long stories, but the long ones taken years, and people are getting a little bit pissed off with that. But if you go to my Substack, put your email in, you'll get a new one. And I will write the new one the day the missus goes. So she's going in 2 days. I will get it written that day, and it's a cracker. True stories from my life. Substack in the links in the description. Now, let's just step a little bit back from this. So we've had defund the police. We've had get rid of the police as well. Just get rid of them. We don't need the police. What we need is feminists going out onto the streets and going, hey, man, have you ever thought about not raping? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, the same people that want to defund the police, the same people that want to get rid of the police, they want to empty the prisons. Now, I'm sorry, society is far from perfect. Every society is far from perfect. But if you're going to not have anyone locked up, people who are mass murderers, psychotics, or even people who've murdered one or raped one, or just done something hideous to another human, they need to be punished. They need to be punished. I believe in punishment. I do believe in rehabilitation as well, and you could argue that that isn't available. But the people that want to defund the police, the people that want to get rid of the police, now they're talking about getting rid of prisons. And it's like, you want to destroy America. That is when you join the dots of the communist administration and all their supporters, that's all you get. That's all you get. They want the place destroyed. They're jealous of it. They're jealous of the people who created it. They're jealous of its legal system. They're jealous. It's just envy, jealousy, and the chips on shoulders like you could never imagine, because their people haven't managed it and they want rid of it. And communism, which is what is running America at the moment, swiftly into the ground, is the vehicle through which they do it. The title of this video, and it will start shortly, was something like "The Long March Through the Institutions Went Woke," thankfully. And I mean that because the Long March was never organized. Often people think that a load of leftists sat around and said, we need to get into the legal system, we need to get into the police, we need to get into education. It didn't really work like that. There was a German student who suggested that if leftists got in positions of power and got in positions of education, that they would slowly get the power to run the place. And it was just a suggestion. But leftists are like that. Leftists are power hungry. That's why they did do a long march. That's why they did get into professorships, teaching jobs. That's why they did get into the police, into the law. And that's why they got involved in the media as well. So it kind of happened organically, and not totally organically. You've got Gramsci and all the hegemony and all that sort of stuff. It's it kind of built up over the 20th century, and they got it. But and I always say this, but they didn't take into account the internet. And I always say, if the internet was 20 years later, we'd be screwed now. It would be gulags. There'd be gulags all over Europe, all over America. But the internet did come out, and it came out just in the nick of time. And so what happened is the Long March went woke. And woke is really the long marchers, dare we call them the Communist Army, and there have been many, the Red Army, let's say, they needed to attack the internet. They realized that their propaganda wing was losing control of the narrative. And it's easy to identify how it lost control of the narrative. That was the internet. And so wokeism, the idea, is the expression of a way of attacking internet culture, internet people, independent creators, etc., etc. And the problem is, it's an ill-considered idea, because for lack of a better word, your normies can see straight through it. And so, although everything woke is disgusting, everything woke is hateful, everything woke is about power and very little else, there's no actual care or compassion for minorities or this or that. The bullshit sort of superficial veneer of care is exactly that, a bullshit superficial veneer of care. But wokeism is really an attack on internet culture and the internet, and which is an opposition to the propaganda wing of the communist leaders. And we should be thankful for wokeism, really, because it's what is going to bring down the communists, and it already is. And you've already got people like Salty Cracker, you've already got people like Mark Dice, you've already got people like me, and don't forget hundreds of thousands of people like me. Yes, Salty Cracker's got hundreds of thousands as followers. Mark Dice has got millions. But when you've got channels like mine, you've got a couple of hundred max watching. Well, actually, the streams get about 1,000 views, but just not live. Imagine 100,000 more people like me. You know the channels I'm talking about. There's loads of them. A lot of you probably watch other channels like this with my, not exactly the same as what I say, but certainly anti-communist, anti-Marxist, anti-woke. And so that's all out there working. And you've got people talking about, get those gubernatorial places, go and vote for your local DA, go and vote for your local police chief. All those sort of, this isn't for the president, this is for your local DA. Well, if you don't go and vote, you're going to get a woke one. And a woke one isn't going to prosecute. This is why all the blue states in America are currently having gangs of people run into their shops and ruin their businesses forever. If you're a small business, insurance ain't going to cough up for that. It's over. If you have all your stock nicked in an hour or 20 seconds or however long it takes, that's it. You're done. Your 20 years work on your business that has been, giving you a life and putting your kids through school, it's over. It's finished. It's gone. Very hard to come back from that. The way I know how shops work, and you have a rolling stock, and most of your money and loans, by the way, loans. And, businesses always borrow money. You need to borrow money to run a business. So when your stock's all nicked, you're fucked. And so people are starting to realize this. And so what we're now getting is a rapid march into the institutions. And people will be voting for in these very small local elections, as well as the bigger ones. And, I think the Virginia and the New Jersey gubernatorials were the start of it, and it's going to carry on, and the midterms are just going to be a bloodbath for the communists, the communists formerly known as the Democrats. And I have absolute faith in that. I will be streaming I'll be doing a 12-hour stream, 8, 9, 10 hours, the good bits, when the numbers start coming in, basically. And it will be an amazing time to celebrate the dare I say, making America great again. So I just wanted you to just consider that, because that's why I called the channel this. And if you get time, read the description, because I think it's quite important to see it. Well, actually, I'll do it now because it's quite interesting. This is what I said. The long march through the institutions has been one of communist history's most successful and largely organic strategies. It was an almost accidental occurrence created by the psychological dark triad of narcissism, psychopathy, and manipulation. So if you don't know, we've talked about it, but the dark triad in psychology is narcissism, psychopathy, and manipulation. It's a classic character type. And it's also been proved that the people with that character type are most likely to virtue signal. And that, again, when I talked about that superficial veneer of wokeism, that is the waving of the virtue signal flag. So just to put that bit in context here, it was an almost accidental occurrence created by the psychological dark triad of narcissism, psychopathy, and manipulation, a character type proven to be the most likely to virtue signal. Add all those together, you can see why they wanted positions in power, actual and intellectual, law, education, police, media, but they've tripped up. And in the internet age, it might just save us. And I think that's really what's going to happen now. Wokeism is the seed of the destruction of the modern cultural Marxist. And Marx himself even said this. Marx said that a system's destruction is the seeds of capitalism's destruction is within capitalism. Well, ironically, Carl, if I may, the seeds of cultural Marxism's destruction is within cultural Marxism, and it's wokeism. Now, in view of all of that, and I weirdly, and I don't like to say this, it would appear the show has started. Please accept my apologies. Don't worry, that won't happen too often, but I actually had a point to make. Now, in view of everything I just said, check this out. This is, again, Sky News Australia, strangely based. But this is a report on another interview, and we looked at a bit of the interview the other day. But have a look at this. If someone could give me an audio check, I think we'd be all right. Check it.
And before we get to our Crackerjack panel tonight, which is no sooks, no lefties, how good. You may be aware in the United States of a group called The Squad, a collection of lower house MPs that are all hardcore and basically are super Greens. But because the Greens doesn't really exist in the United States, Democrats have to deal with these nutters as being part of their party. One of them is a lady called Rashida Tlaib. Now, she is on many, many fronts somebody who would be even uncomfortable for many Greens in Australia. But her belief is that, and she sponsored legislation, that not only should you defund the police, but every single federal prison in the United States should be emptied out. People let go.
I just want to say it's interesting that at the bottom of the screen it says insanity, because we got to this a few weeks ago when when we were talking about the $4.5 trillion bill the communists are trying to put through in America. And as I was trying to dissect and offer you some kind of criticism, I just kept saying this is madness. And at the end of a long, sprawling, protracted discussion, I'd say this is madness, this is insanity. And I apologized for that. But then you saw the likes of Jim Jordan and Ted Cruz and Kennedy, that don't say something, don't not say something is insane just because it sounds a bit flippant and sounds a bit intellectually sort of poor. Because if it is madness, if it is insanity, name it. And I'm seeing this all over the place now. Journalists, writers, content makers. There was a time 3 or 4 years ago where they'd actually be able to give you some sense of strategy. Now, because they are only looking to destroy the USA, and with that Europe and Australia, New Zealand and Canada, I can't imagine what joins all those things up. You can only, all roads do lead to madness. All roads do lead to insanity, because they want to destroy the place. That's their agenda, the destruction of what we have.
Over the next 10.
I'll just take it back for context, because he says something interesting. This woman wants the federal prisons empty in 10 years, because that will really contribute to society. That will make it even better. No, it will help destroy it, which is why they want to do it.
That, and she sponsored legislation that not only should you defund the police, but every single federal prison in the United States should be emptied out. People let go over the next 10 years. which brought her to a conversation with Australia's very own Jonathan Swan on his program, which is Axios on HBO. I think you can find it somewhere on Binge. In the meantime, this is the 1 minute of awkwardness when somebody actually confronts her and points out how nutty her idea is.
To what extent have you wrestled with
Hello,
any
Stephen.
potential downsides of releasing into society
See you later,
every
Alan.
single person who's currently in a federal prison?
Yeah,
Sorry, people. I just talked over that, and it's quite important you hear what he has to say to her. Take care, Alan.
To what extent have you wrestled with any potential downsides of releasing into society every single person who's currently in a federal prison?
Yeah, I think that everyone's like, oh my God, we're going to just release everybody. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, but did you see how many people are mentally ill that are in prison right now?
Yeah, that doesn't actually make it any better. And you did actually say that. You did actually say, yeah. Hang on, who just said that? Said, yeah, Flammer did release Derek Chauvin then. Yeah, exactly. This mental illness argument is ridiculous because she laughs. I mean, look at the laughter on it. She's not American. She's not a patriot. She wants to see the country taken over, essentially. And she giggles and says, have you seen how many people are mentally ill? Well, that doesn't mean release them. That might mean they need to be somewhere else, but there's more options than just releasing them. Oh, have you seen how many mentally ill people are in prison? Oh, what, those people who run around and drive cars through people and hack people up for no reason? Oh, okay. Oh, well, they're ill, so just let them out on the street. No, you're insane. With agenda. As ST, I think it is 9/11 said, insanity doesn't just mean you're off your head, you don't know what you're doing. No, far from it. It can mean with agenda, with intent.
Every single person who's currently in a federal prison.
Yeah, I think that everyone's like, oh my God, we're going to just release everybody. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, but did you see how many people are mentally ill that are in prison right now?
No, I know, but the act that you endorsed actually says release everyone.
But in 10 years, but think about it, who are releasing?
But there are like human traffickers,
I know.
Child sex. So, but you're saying, do you mean that you don't
Have you noticed she hasn't stopped smiling like a hysteric? That's because, that's what you do when you know the transparency of your evil is shown. We've all had, I've deliberately been devil's advocate in like conversations in bars or boozers. And you sit there and you're like, no, it'll be fine. There's no problem. And you sort of laugh because you're winding them up. Well, that's exactly what this is. She's not, she doesn't strike me as an intelligent person. She doesn't strike me as someone who's got a position on this where she's actually going to sort of say, well, if you think about this, if you think about X, you think about Y, and if we resolve that dialectic, we get to Z. No, she's just like, that's, you talking to me, Mr. Interviewer, is not going to stop it happening because we want to destroy the nation. So, so fuck off. It's terrifying.
actually support that? Because
No,
you endorsed the bill.
No, I endorse the Breathe Act and looking at the policies and how we incarcerate. Absolutely.
But it says in there.
But you cannot.
It says in the bill that everyone should be released from federal prison in 10 years, and she supported the bill. So she's backtracking slightly, and she's still giggling and laughing. She knows exactly what she's doing. She knows that he knows what she's doing. She knows that everyone knows what she's doing, but they can carry on because there's a communist administration.
No, you endorsed the bill.
No, I endorse the Breathe Act and looking at the policies and how we incarcerate. Absolutely.
But it says in there.
But you cannot just blanketly say, oh, look, she wants, that's not what I'm saying.
But that's like in plain text.
But what I'm saying is look at who's in prison now.
These people are frightening. They are not funny.
Yeah.
And as I always talk about the lefty Jedi mind trick, right? When even, when the buildings were on fire, these are peaceful protesters. Even though it's in black and white, that everyone in federal prison would go free within 10 years, that's not the bill that I sponsored.
There you go.
It is. And good on Jonathan Swan for looking her right in the eye. And wouldn't it be nice if more mainstream media actually did so to these absolute nutbags who, by the way, without their support, Joe Biden can't get anything done.
Exactly. It's a great point. Well done. I never thought I'd say it, but, Sky News Australia, they seem to be doing pretty well. Quite something. Right, people, I've got something very interesting for you. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it is Monday morning. Well, this is the point I'm making. This is the point this video intended to make. And I just give you the guts of it. I mean, I'm not just going to keep saying the same thing in different words. But yeah, wokeism is a response to the internet, and it's going to cripple them. It's already crippling them. People are ironically waking up to wokeism. This is interesting. Like I say, might not be everyone's cup of tea. It's 4 minutes. I'm going to show it all because I thought this was excellent. And, you know, look, this show is, you know, we've just had some heavy stuff. You know, we're talking about a communist administration wanting to destroy America because that's what communism does. It always has done that for the power and benefit of very few. But this struck me as something. I just occasionally want to show you something nice. Just occasionally. There was an old film director. It might have been Renoir, not the painter, obviously, director. And his films, he occasionally thought they were so heavy that, and this was centuries before the internet, well, one. Occasionally he'd just put a couple of cats playing in the middle of a scene, just so the audience could calm down a little bit. Maybe see this as that. But this is an iceberg turning over. It's quite something. It's quite something. So check this out. Grego, it's not shoes, is it? No. I know that isn't everyone's cup of tea. Carlson, we've had this one, but maybe one day I'll get you on here and we can talk about it. I do understand your neoliberalism. I get that, but I think it is communism. But you know, maybe we'll have that debate. That'll be an interesting conversation to have, I think. But for now, we're going to have a look at an iceberg turning over. What a thing to do. Check it out. So you can see that bit on the right of the screen at the moment. It's slowly coming out of the water there. I mean, amazing formation. Look at the sort of horizontal, the vertical lines on it. I mean, I never knew this kind of thing happened, but I suppose it has to eventually. You know, if there's a problem with buoyancy and balance, maybe part of the iceberg is in a hot stream or something, and a certain part of it gets eroded faster than another part. Have you noticed that little tunnel? I don't know if you can see my cursor. Look at that. Oh, imagine going in there. Imagine being in there now. Oh, quick, it's moving. And, you know, this sort of thing, I don't know if there's any people in here who are experts on this sort of thing, but this must be a way how things are formed slowly. They were, imagine being so lucky that you managed to achieve this. You were there when this happened. And this is, I mean, can you hear it creaking? This is actual speed. This hasn't been slowed down. And in a minute, you'll get a sense of the scale of this thing. Yeah, Bunnings, there you go. That's a massive event. Yeah. In a minute, you'll get an idea of the scale, because the wave it creates is just, it's not like a wave, but, well, you'll see it. It's, look at that. Incredible. I mean, what do you reckon that is? Like 100 tons, 1 million tons of ice? Now look at it really moving. Come on, camera up, mate. Don't be silly. Wow. Now look at the water. Look at the water. Look. That isn't slowed down. Look. Wow. Now keep an eye on the stuff coming out of the water. All that ice. You've got like 2 peaks. And that, Manny Moo says several million tons. Yes, gargantuan, isn't it? Look at that. That is it. Look, it's now just finding its buoyancy. It's offloading a bit of ice. I mean, I know it's not doing that intentionally. I'm not suggesting that. And then I assume that will somehow freeze. And you can kind of get an idea of how the rest of that bit behind it formed. I mean, how lucky to have witnessed that live. And isn't it, how clean must that water be for the underside of that iceberg to be identical in colour to the upside? Amazing, huh? And now it's just part of the scenery. An iceberg turned upside down. I was just so amazed by that. Absolutely amazed. Thank you, Chris. Link to the Scrubs lifeboat on Telegram, please. Well, I don't have it. Rags, if you've got a link to the... thank you for the donation, Chrissy. Rags, if you've got a link to the Scrubs lifeboat, pop it in. I'm going to put some lights on. Pop it in our Telegram, and I'll put it up on the screen. If that's how it works. I don't know if it's invite only or if it's private or any of that malarkey at the moment. But thank you, Chris. If I can get that sorted out, I will. It's what a thing to see. It's almost like it's changed the colour of me. Right. Today's toxic masculinity. Sorry, Mark. Toxic masculinity. Sorry, Mark. Rags isn't here. Good Lord, it's chaos. It's absolute chaos. Now, we have watched this before, but we've got a load of new people here. So I think it is worth watching again. This is from a documentary called Hearts of Darkness. Obviously a play on the novel Hearts of Darkness. Now, so that you don't have to watch, I will put a link to the whole documentary in it because it's brilliant. There were a load of homeless alcoholics, junkies, the likes of you and me, who used to get shopping trolleys from their local supermarket and use them to go around where they lived to get scrap metal, anything they could recycle, stuff they could sell. Now in Dartford, when I was very young, when I was about 14, I'd see the local junkies always pushing along a few shopping trolleys. Now they would do it so that they'd get them back to Tesco, put the little metal thing in and get the quid out of it. And if you can get 10, some of them would be dripping with moss where they got them out the water, out the lakes or out the rivers. There's a lot of rivers in Dartford. Dirty things they are as well. And you get 10 of them, you've got £10. That's a bag. And I didn't realise that until later. But also they'd have shopping trolleys so they could get scrap metal and then take it down to Eastwoods, get it weighed off and get like £2.50. Which is a lot of money when you're a junkie because you've only got to get that 3 more times and you can get a bag. Now, these fellas out in America, they would get these trolleys and because they're desperate to get their junk or their alcohol, they got pretty good at getting rapid. Oh, no, yeah, I thought that, you know, Rags, I thought that. Right, 1 second, people. Excuse the slight intervention. I've just put the link to the Scrubs Lifeboat Telegram channel. So there you go, people. Plenty of Scrubs get in there and they have a good chat and it's a nice place. So, you know. Anyway, these fellas, I've got to get rid of that blue. I'm sorry, people. It's making me look colder than I'm actually feeling. Where are we? 1 second. I'll just give it a quick wipe. Oh, God, that ain't great, is it? I'll just give it a quick wipe. Too much. There you go. That's acceptable. Now, these fellas would zoom about on their shopping trolleys, getting scrap metal or anything they could recycle, anything to get some money from, and they'd go through people's bins, much like they do out here. In Cambodia, there's children and sometimes whole families. They go around with a cart and they go through all the bins, collecting plastic bottles. You get a kilo of plastic bottles, you get like $1 or something. My missus used to do it when she was about 5. Yeah, no shit. Now, Carlson says $7.50 for a bag. That's cheaper than alcohol. Well, it's a tenner you pay for a bag. And they're crap. You're going to need a few of them a day. But yeah, it's cheaper than smoking. You can have a smack habit in England cheaper than you can have a nicotine habit. Who'd ever thought that would be the case? Nice one, Carlson. Thanks for the donation. Now, the gift has been a little bit appalling, though, in fairness, for what has been an excellent channel. But thank you to everyone who has donated. It's much appreciated. And over a month, it all balances out. It's all right. I am gutted, to be honest. So these blokes got quite good at zooming around their areas and getting their scrap. And they started having to go down hills because where they lived, there was a lot of hills. And they started getting quite good at moving quite at high speed on their shopping trolleys. And then they decided that they were so good at it, they were going to start racing them. Now, like I say, I have showed this on this channel before, but it was about a year ago. And we've had a lot of people move and a lot of new people come. So I think it's worth watching again because it's excellent. Now, the reason I also want to show it is the other day I showed on our toxic masculinity section some old, knackered, out-of-shape bloke doing street beefs. Remember the fighter? He got the shit kicked out of him, but he felt alive. And I posited that this man had potentially been sacked off his job, had potentially been divorced, was a white man in America who, wherever he looked, was getting the feeling that he wasn't wanted, that he was obsolete, and he just wanted to feel alive. And he had the balls to get in a ring and have a scrap. And even though he got absolutely belted to pieces, at the end of it, he was happy. These homeless blokes have got a bit of that about them. They're homeless drunks and junkies. That life has spat them out. It might have been their own fault, might not have been, probably a bit of both. But they realised that shooting down a hill on a shopping trolley, and they put bricks and bags of sand and things in the front of the shopping trolley to give it a bit more weight. They know the right trolleys to get. They started knowing what the best trainers to find. Now, the clip I'm going to show you, he gets out of like an SUV, but that isn't his. He's homeless. He's just got out of prison, this fella. And the first thing he does when he gets out of prison is get on a trolley. And it really sort of speaks to me about that. I just want to feel alive because life has become stupid. Life has become padded. You know, we've got nanny states, we've got nanny schools, we've got nanny everything. And I just want to take a fucking risk because I'm a bloke and we used to do that. You know, we used to sail ships that we built ourselves by hand and we didn't even know where we were going. Nice one, Stephen. Long time no see, Mr. Strangefield. Good to have you back, though, Stephen. I knew you'd come and say hello at some point. I hope you've been all right. I hope you've just been busy. Thank you, Stephen, for that donation as well. Much appreciated. So I'm just going to show you a little clip of this. But like I say, the SUV ain't his. He's just got out of nick. So check it out. And they reach incredible speeds. Sometimes they race, but sometimes they just do it for the absolute joy. If you can give me an audio check, someone. Here we go.
Then you got to worry about the cops.
So that's the fella who's just got out of nick. And so the driver wants him to give him a demonstration of what he does.
It's pretty dangerous. Then you got to worry about the cops.
So are you excited to do Mountain Highway?
Damn excited. A little nervous.
So Mountain Highway is one of the hills in his area, which is it's one of the classics for these geezers. Thank you for the audio check. It's one of the classics for these fellas to do. It's called the Mountain Highway.
It's like riding a bike. You just can't forget it. It's $30 every time you do a nice little shopping cart run. Yeah. It's not like it's all free. I actually got to take a shopping cart from some company. And like I say, shoes ain't free unless you're a thief. I'm not going back to jail for it. You know, I don't like the grip too much. It's not going to slow me down enough. So hopefully I don't run over some girl in a buggy carrying her baby or something like that.
I'll put you the link to the whole documentary. It's a great documentary, really worth watching. By the way, if YouTube yeets me for this, I'm only going to show about another minute. I'll be back. It takes a couple of minutes and I come back.
A lot of people think I'm nuts.
And like I say, this fella's just come out of prison, but there are scenes in this documentary where there's a couple of blokes in the woods where they live, just getting drunk, and then they go out and get a couple of trolleys and they just fly. But I thought this was a clip where I could show you the whole sort of what they actually get up to, and it's the mountain highway. There's the bricks they put in the front for the weight so that it's faster. I'll probably get in trouble for the music, but fuck it, I'll cut it out. It's worth watching. Look how fast he's going. And I'm also pausing it so that I don't get yeeted. I'd rather just play it, obviously. Fuck me! Like back in the day, when you come out of prison, first thing you do is get a fuck up, yeah. Get a pint in you. Look what he's doing. First day out of Nick. Now look, I'm not saying that these are productive members of society. I'm not judging them at all. But just like that street beef we watched the other day, the geezer needs to feel alive. And he's been spat out. For whatever reasons, he's been spat out. That's not what he's going to do all day, every day. It's a cracking documentary. If I get time, I might watch it myself again later. I'll put the link to the whole documentary in the chat. It's called Carts of Darkness. There you go. It's in the. I'll put it in the chat. Moslab says the Juicy Smollett trial starts today. Well, I think we all know. Come on. I don't know. I wonder if Kate Law will be covering it. I wonder whether it'll be televised. That'll be the interesting thing. Guys, I think there's without a doubt a bit of that about that. Then it's not very productive. But in fairness, that bloke, the cameraman wanted to get hold of a bloke who would talk about it. The rest of them are just street people. So it's but it's definitely worth watching. Now, but we have actually got a street beef to watch. And this is in Satan's backyard. This was before they had the cage. This is a very interesting fight. Now, I just need to tell you something before we watch it. We're going to watch the whole fight. There's very few rules in the street beef thing, but there is respect. You're not allowed to knee someone in the head when you're on the ground, because you can just crush someone's skull doing that. And there's ample opportunity. You're not even allowed to do that in the UFC, because if you're holding someone's head on the ground and you're kneeing them in the face, you can kill them in one knee. It's not allowed. And the black fella in this fight does that. It's out of order. There's also a couple of accusations that he's deliberately putting dirt in the other fella's face. But it does get quite heated. So this is today's bonus toxic masculinity section. Check out this street beef. This is early in the street beef's thing. This was before they got their cage sorted out. So it doesn't help. But good Lord, does it get heated. Audio check, please, someone. Here we go.
Thank you. Hey, last fight of the day. You already know what it is. Let's go. Let's go, Jay.
So the ref has already told him a couple of times to stop poking him in the eye. The black fella's putting his hands in the white geezer's eyes. It's ridiculous. You're not allowed. Obviously, you're not allowed to poke people in the eye. He's told him twice. He's just tried to pull his hand off again. You know, the geezer's already pissed. The white bloke's already pissed because the geezer's cheating, and he continues to. Trying to knee him in the head there. You saw the first attempt, and now the white geezer's got his left arm trying to stop that happening again. You'd really kind of expect the referee to be on that.
Come on, guard. There you go. Off the track. Pick him up.
Go! Fuck yeah. Now he's covering up. And the white geezer apologises. And he's saying he kneed me in the head, he kneed me in the face. His girlfriend, look at that. How cucked is this? His missus in the, listen to her. He not fighting anymore. He ain't fighting.
Are you able to continue? Yes or no? All right, let's go.
Can you believe she said that the other geezer wasn't fighting fair? Good Lord. Get out. Oh, I see. You're fighting as well, are you now, mate? I thought it was 1v1, but yeah, crack on.
Yo, everybody, real quick. Look, I know we're fighting. We're having, hey, yo, hold up. We fighting, having a good time, bro. This is somebody's home. If we was at your crib, you want everybody doing that shit? I know the tensions are high, bro. But we at somebody's house.
Handle it, yo.
Relax.
All right.
Relax.
Fight is over with. Okay.
That's
it.
It's a good fight. Right, okay. And straight from that to a little bit of, well, I suppose we could call it toxic femininity, but not the good type. This is the SNP, the Scottish Nationalist Party. Eh? What? Cannot compute. I'll just let you calm down a bit, because if you're like me, you're probably a little bit pissed at the moment, because that was shitty. He was poking him in the eye. He tried to knee him in the head. The refs didn't do anything about it. And then the other fighters' mates joined in, and the white geezer apologised. I mean, well, it shows. It says something, doesn't it? There you go. Yeah, Moslab says this gets my blood up. I just want to smash them. Yeah, it's well, they just call the fight off because you know the crowd of one of them can't be trusted. Poker. Right. Well, there is a good type of toxic femininity, as there is a good type of toxic masculinity. But this is very frightening. Have a look at this. I think we all know a little bit about the 2030 agenda, but check it. Audio check would be handy.
Of our topical and emergency resolutions for today, entitled Loss of Life in the English Channel. This resolution will be proposed by Bill Kidd, MSP. So welcome, Bill.
Conference, thank you for your support for this motion.
So if you haven't already realised, this is an SNP kind of Zoom call, you know, like a digital conference.
To reaffirming our welcoming of refugees to Scotland. Understanding
to Scotland, but surely for these refugees to get to Scotland, have they already gone through what? How many other countries that aren't at war have they gone through? I mean, at least France. Is France at war? Is England at war? What are these refugees going up the Solent, turning left up the North Sea and dropping off at Orkney? I mean, how do you welcome refugees to Scotland in accordance with the laws surrounding refugees? It's a blatant disregarding of the whole European policy regarding refugees. Unless they're coming in from Germany or across the Atlantic from America, there is no way a refugee should get to Scotland. Well, unless, of course, you're now saying, and I haven't seen this in writing, they get to pick and choose. It's not about finding a safe place. It's not about getting you and your family. Oh, your family seem to be fighting age men. How strange. Is it just 6 brothers, no parents and children? Okay, crack on. There is no way that they can get to Scotland and be following the rules. And yet the SNP, much like the American administration, don't care, because this isn't about looking after refugees. They don't give a shit about refugees. What they want to do is destroy Scotland. And they probably will. What he says in a minute is going to blow your mind.
Our moral and legal responsibilities to those forced to leave their homes in search of a new place where they can safely rebuild their lives and homes and community. Now, before I say anything,
it's an amazing thing for him to admit there, that they can, a new place where they can rebuild their lives, homes, and community. So let me just work this out. What you're gonna put these people on a bit of wasteland, or so you're gonna move these people to the highlands where no one's living, so that they can build a community, or are you gonna put them in an already established community, and then they can build their community? Because having spent most of my life living in London, I can assure you, when you try mixing different communities, it's no cultural melting pot. No. They don't mix. They have their own communities, and they are continually fighting each other. But, you know, crack on with your ridiculous leftist bullshit.
Anything more in my address to you, I want to recognise those courageous and sadly desperate people who lost their lives this week when trying to cross the Channel in the hope of building a new life for themselves in the UK.
Courageous and desperate, but they didn't need to leave France. They probably didn't need to leave 3 or 4 other countries. It's almost like they're trying to go where the money is. It's almost like they're trying to go where ridiculous liberal governments are offering them houses, free money. Once you get in, bring your family. Courageous and desperate. Courageous, desperate for something.
Wow. Well, like, you know, sometimes I genuinely have to stop and think, really think about it, and think whether or not people like this genuinely believe the shit that they say when they say it, or if they know damn well that they're talking pish. Mm-hmm.
And there you go. That is exactly the point. I mean, Carlson says the refugees did a paratrooper drop in Scotland. Good Lord, I don't even know what that means. Nice one on the donation, Carlson. If you give me a bit more information, that just seems absurd. So yeah, I'll give you the link to that, because that's obviously someone else's content. It's a geezer called Resisting the Lies. He's only got a small channel, worth having a look at. But that's the point. Does he mean that? Does he? I mean, he must know the rules around refugees. He must know the rules around safe havens. He must know that it's ridiculous that refugees are getting to Scotland. You know, and this is just vote. This is just vote, getting voters moving in. Move in voters. Free stuff. Communism. Free stuff. Give them free stuff. Socialism. It's free. No one has to pay for it. It's free. Don't worry about those people working hard paying taxes. Ignore them because everyone else is. It's free. Shocking. Shocking. Don't worry about the rules. Don't worry about what people thought about. Absolutely freaking absurd. Little video here from Phil Marshall Browning, who went down to the Melbourne 27th Freedom Rally. You can still do it in some places in Australia, and thank fuck they are, because it's terrifying what's going on out there.
Kill the bill! 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 Suck that Andrew! 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 Suck that.
Listen, hang on, listen to Dawn. You can hear her here.
Suck that Andrew! Suck that Andrew! Suck that Andrew!
Good call, Phil Marshall Browning. Well done for making the video as well. I used to go to Dawn's channel for gardening advice and her lovely life, and now we're getting that. It's quite something. Right, have I got this set up to the right point? Let me just see. Oh, yes, I have. Right, yeah, this is quite interesting. So, you know about Gosar. Gosar tweeted, "Let's go, Brandon," and got in a lot of trouble about it. And Orange Man glad, it would appear. This is from the Next News Network. Oh no! Apologies. It was the anime clip, wasn't it? Sorry, when I think AOC got a clout in. Apologies, people.
Wow. Tweet a meme and you get censured in Congress. He was excited to see the show of support from President Trump. He said, "I'm humbled to have earned your support. I'm humbled to have earned your support and the support of the American people," he tweeted. "Our struggle to return this nation to greatness is more daunting than ever with the current administration." He vowed that along with Trump, they will save America. He was reelected in 2020 with 69.7% of the vote over his Democrat opponent. Those with no sense of humor and no sense of originality will turn their noses up at a meme as rebellious and funny as Gosar's. Trump gets it. Why shouldn't politicians be able to make a joke from time to time?
Why can't anyone make a joke from time to time? Without a doubt, Trump is going to run for president. That is happening. And I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, but they'll just cheat again. But no one's going to run for president unless they make sure in advance that can't happen. That is part of that. You know, you're not going to waste your time and energy on running for president unless you know it's going to get done fairly. And I think he wins without a doubt. Thank you, Jimmy. Swami Dangerfield. If you need any advice, Jimmy, you know where to find me. Nice one on the donation. Hello, Scott's Armour. Nice to see you. Loomy's in, is he? Hello, Loomy. Nice to see you. How did it go last night? I might watch that later when I'm grafting, actually. Yeah, apologies. It wasn't Let's Go, Brandon. It was that anime meme that they played. Right, before... Hang on a minute. This is from Fox News. It's 3.5 minutes, but we won't watch it all. But I want you to watch a little bit of it because it's actually worth watching. But before we get there... Don't worry, people. The show's going to start shortly. Swami. How are you, Jimmy? All right. Tavern drops a 10-bit and he says, half of my family is Scottish. I always find it amusing when they pirouette into their next expedition of madness by claiming they want Scottish independence by joining the European Union. Yeah, it's you know, I mean, the ability to hold two contradictory thoughts in your head at the same time is it's a magic trick. I mean, it's anti-dialectic. There's a contradiction there, son. All you've got to do is resolve it and you'll get the truth. But oh no, I'll sit in the contradiction. And the problem with sitting in contradiction is your country usually starves to death. Nice one, Tavern. Sorry to hear about your people over there being a bit like that. That can't be nice. Let's watch a little bit of this because it's kind of interesting. It'll probably get me a strike, but, you know, we'll give it a go. This is from Fox News.
Homeowners feeling the heat as the cost of keeping warm soars this winter amid Biden's energy crisis. But our next guest says Americans are actually paying a heavy price for Democrats' quote, environmental justice. But where's the justice for average tax-paying Americans? Co-founder of the Conservative Coalition for Climate Solutions, John Hart, joins us now. John, thanks so much. What is the impact of this environmental justice on average folks in America right now?
Well, Pete, thanks for having me on. Look, this problem is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And what we're watching is a global supply and demand problem that's largely self-inflicted. The Biden administration's decided to listen to far-left climate progressives who believe that reducing energy supply through policies like killing the Keystone Pipeline will help poor people on the planet. And they're just wrong on the science, the math, the economics, and the ethics.
It's an amazing angle, though, isn't it? We're going to help poor people by reducing supply. How does that work? Oh, I get it. You take a knee. You take a knee to OPEC, and they say, no, fuck off. Nice one, Joe.
And as you said in your opening, where's the environmental justice in making poor people pay higher energy prices? So, look, I think we need a different approach on climate. You know, we believe that climate change is real and it's happening, but the answer is not more command and control policies in Washington. It's economic freedom. We did a report that showed that free economies are twice as clean as less free economies. So if you want to,
it's an incredible point. Free economies are cleaner. You know, Britain, America, Australia, the ones that ain't, China. But fuck all that. Fuck, dare I say it, the science. We've got something bigger than the science. We've got something bigger than the truth that we've got to continue pushing. The narrative. Just fuck those Americans. We've got people coming in the southern border we need to look after. We need more money. We need more taxes. We need higher prices. We've got people to look after.
If you care about climate change, if that's an issue that you're concerned about, you should be promoting less government, lower taxes, more private property rights.
The opposite of communism. Amazing.
Other policies that are going to unleash American innovation. And we're already leading the world in measured by climate CO2 reduction.
But you will hear none of that from the left or the modern Democrat Party. And certainly when you say we're right on the ethics, they'll say, maybe you're a conservationist, but you don't realize the world's going to end in 10 years. You don't realize the doom of climate. We do. Right. We care. You don't. So you can keep your fossil fuels, but we're going to save the planet. That leads them to not do any of the other things you're talking about.
No, that's exactly right. And look, I think this is why we need to take this issue head on and say, we not only care about it, we have the solution set that actually works. So look, let's say for the sake of argument that sea levels are rising. The first rule of not drowning is don't panic. So panic is not policy.
You can watch the rest of that if you want. It's getting very dark here, people. Hang on. I'll turn my brightness up on my monitor. You might even be able to see me. Don't worry, people. The show's going to start in a minute. Just get over the introduction. There you go. I am actually here. Boing, boing. Yeah, ridiculous. Just madness. No, what we need to do is make poor people pay more. There's people coming in from Ecuador. We need to feed them. They want houses. Come on, we've got criminals coming in. How are they going to eat? It's absolute madness. Right, now, I'm going to just show you a little clip here. This is, it's too long, Rags. It's too long. I can't play that. I'll have a look at it later. Maybe I'll grab a clip out of it and we'll watch that. Right, 1 second, people. Listen, there's a few more turned up. We've got 170 in here at the moment. If you like reading, I write short stories. There's 12 in the archive. Go into the description of this video. It's called SUBSTACK. It's totally free. I'll never monetize it. New story coming out at the end of this week. If you put your email in, you'll get all news stories emailed to you when they come out. Even if you don't like reading, go and do that. If you want to help support me, that'll help me because it'll help me with my numbers and then it'll help me with my algorithm and they might push me a bit further near the front of the whatever it's called. But having said that, loads of scrubs have read them and the comments are brilliant. There's not a negative one there. There is this one kid who keeps saying, you need to read Bukowski, you cunt. And then the next day deletes them because he sobered up, obviously, and realised that I'm not Bukowski and I have read Bukowski. It's so weird. It's like, I know where he's coming from, though. I was 17 once. I read Bukowski and thought it was the greatest thing ever. But, you know, I don't think you have to measure every other writer by Charles Bukowski. And Bukowski is in my top 3. But anyway, I'm straying. Hello, little bullet. Nice to see you. Yeah, it was kind of a good comment, wasn't it? The first rule of drowning is learn to swim. Right, 1 second, people. The show will start shortly. I need the power of man's red flower, and that's what's bothering me. Oh, Ruby-doo, I want to be like you. Ooh, ooh, ah, Scooby-Doo up. I want to walk like you. Just a little bit of the Jungle Book dropped in there. I'd like to thank everyone who donated. The grift has been fair to middling. There's still a few minutes to chuck a few quid at me if you wish. Thank you to everyone who did donate. Thank you lot in the chat because you're on fire. And without your comments, I can't get involved as well. So lovely. For all the new people, I usually stream twice a day. When my girlfriend's here, it's once a day. So I will be back tomorrow about 8:30, 9 o'clock UK time. It's always a pleasure. I'll see you in the morning. Thanks to Rags and Moslab for looking after the place. Take care. I will be putting your comments on the screen. Go and sign up to my Substack. You'll be doing me a massive favour. It'll only take you 30 seconds and you might even enjoy the stories. I will see you later. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. A new week has started. Enjoy. Yeah. Nice to have you here, Cindy.
Tell your daddy you're fighting good. Feel the glory he said you would. Tell your mama you're coming home. Over all of that deafening drone. But you realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's
cold hard steel. Oh Lord.
Feel the dawn of your final day. Feel the fear and go anyway.
Depends how much you got, Jimmy. Depends on the colour of your money, Jim.
Kill your conscience along your brain. But you'll realize you've been sold
when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord.
Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel.
Nice one, John. Appreciate Tutti. Taverns dropped another 10-bit. He says the Green Movement got hijacked by Marxists decades ago, which explains why climate change alarmism is mostly about intersectionality. Perfect, absolutely agree with you, and thanks for another 10-bit Tavern. Cheers, John. Cheers, Tab.
Really you. When the slaughtering has begun.
Oh, nice one,
You'll be murdering
SC911.
someone's son.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, Bally.
And you'll realize you've been so.
Cheers, Grego, you cheeky bastard. See you there, Anglo. Nice one, Linda. Cheers, Willow.
When you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh, Lord. Yes, you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's
Cold hard steel. Oh, Lord.
'Cause the wheels are really being rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard
Don't worry, Johnny. It's just about to start, mate. Solo. That's the bit, innit, John? Thanks. I'm going to do exactly that, Brad. Got a bit of work to do today, though, unfortunately. Just about to start, Linda. Yes, Dory. I think I'm going to get Devon on again soon, actually. I think that'll be another cracking stream. Maybe Devon and Baring, the three of us, having an absolute giraffe. Look after yourselves, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you at the crack of dawn. Not that dawn. That would be ridiculous. Ta-da.